And welcome back, guys. This thumbnail's by an individual known as Soma Shadow. And yes, someone made mention that Deathbattle had revealed a couple of their upcoming matches. They're not doing a break this season, so the season's starting later on May. Now, we know a couple of them. We know among them, I believe it's, we know for a fact Discord and Bill Cipher will be duking it out. We know that Cole McGrath and Alex Mercer will be duking it out. And we know there's another one, Dragonborn versus something else. But the season starter is AntMan versus the Atom, the two shrinking heroes of their respective universes, who are basically mirrors of each other in many ways. Now, this is going to, I don't know if this is going to depend on if this is the Hank Pym version of Ant-Man or not, or if it's the Scott Lang version, and I know there's more than one Atom. I'm going to assume there's going to be some sort of compilement of them, a composite version, if you will. So the question is, obviously, who do I think wins the fight? This is one of those scenarios where they're very identical in many ways. Both are capable of shrinking down to nothing. Like, Atom usually, at least the standard versions, normally shrinks to like a size of about 6 inches, roughly about the size of my palm. But he can go much smaller and go into like the microscopic worlds, go into different dimensions. He's actually not a bad hand-to-hand fighter, and obviously he's a genius. But the problem is Scott and Hank can do all of those as well. They can both shrink down to the same size or smaller, like an ant, like that big. Like he's that tiny. Or shrink, and go into different universes. They both can do that exact same thing. And Hank and Scott both have hand-to-hand combat experience as well. They do have some, if we're going by the movies at least, which I think it's still in the comics as well. They both have long range, let's call them weapons, I suppose, shrinking and enlarging tech. Those discs you see him throw. But I mean, he's like, who can shrink smaller? Who can basically? Well, there's one thing one of them has, the other doesn't. And I looked, and I wanted to be sure when I looked this up, and it does seem to be the case, is that the Atom is capable of pretty much doing the same thing that Ant-Man can do, but only on the shrinking side. What Ant-Man has over the Atom very much is the fact that he can grow larger. To the point, there are, I believe, comic instances, I don't know if it's Hank or Scott, where he got so big he was bigger than the actual universe itself. And he even had a conversation with Eternity or something like that. That I think is kind of where the differences lie. Add on to the fact too that because he has weapons that can cause you to shrink or grow, this could screw over the Atom, because if he gets hit with any of those, he might shrink farther than he means to or grow larger than he means to. And then it could screw up his entire methodology. So the fact that Hank / Scott has tech that can go both ways, not just shrinking, but growing as well, and weaponry that basically is designed specifically for shrinking, or that is designed to shrink and make things grow. Makes I think Scott / Hank, again, I don't know which one. Let me know if they say which one they're using. I don't know if it's going to really matter, but let me know if they say which one they're using. But the point is, the fact that they have weaponry designed specifically for that means that they are pretty much, I think they have the bigger edge. And this, I think, goes even, I think this goes even more towards them winning against the Atom, just because when I now have the Atom's actual abilities, weaponry, anything like that available, it's actually not a lot. He knows judo, he's advanced hand-to-hand combat, which means he might be a better fighter than Hank or Scott, but that's severely pushing it. His powers include microscopic stability. If for some reason it allows him to not explode when he miniaturizes, unlike other layers. Okay, right out the gate. He's got microscopic stability. For some reason, his physiology allows him to not explode when he miniaturizes, unlike other living things, which explode after a short time after being miniaturized. My guess is that probably works in the opposite range, except that's microscopic stability, not enlargement stability, which means if he suddenly expands very to an extreme size, very likely he might blow up. He's a PhD in physics and full professor at Ivy University. Great, wonderful. Hank Smarter. I'm sorry, Hank is smarter. This is the man who created his stuff verbatim without powers. Granted, he has a biosuit too that helps him do this as well. But seriously, he created the Pimtech to help to not just shrink but enlarge. He created Ultron in the comics. I believe he's one of the guys who helped with like the whole with negative zone stuff going on. So yeah, no, Hank Smarter. Swordsmanship. That's something. I mean, I'm assuming they'll give him a sword. I guess. Oh yeah, his Carthathian sword. Adam used the sword. A long sword as a weapon while he lived with the Carthathians, gaining considerable skill in the use of it. He also used to be an indigo lantern. And with his size alteration, he can alter his mass. Sure, great, but Hank can do that. Hank and Scott can do that too. Size alteration. The big thing here's where the size alteration really comes into play. Able to shrink his body to various degrees, including subatomic level, achieved by storing most of his mass into a pocket dimension. As the Atom, Ray can assume any size from a normal 6-foot stature down to the submicroscopic level, although he generally deems a 6 inches as most functional. Yeah, no, even by this. Oh, hold on. Dimensional travel. He found out a way by shrinking beyond the subatomic scale, he could slip between the realities at the quantum level to traverse around the multiverse as well. Yeah, we know that they can do that too. So this is basically anything you can do, I can do better scenario when it comes to Ant-Man versus the Atom. So yeah, my money is on Ant-Man. Doesn't matter the version. And versus the Atom doesn't matter the version, I honestly think. So look, this is just my opinion, obviously. But yeah, if you want my opinion, I'm going Ant-Man. But let me know who you got in the fight. You think Atom could actually win? Is there something I am missing about the Atom? I know a lot about a lot of characters, but the Atom is not. I know a little bit, and plus I looked up more information. But I'll admit the Atom is not on the high tier of guys I know a lot about. I don't know. Anyway, let me know in the comments below what you think. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.